Is our government complicit in the illegal migrant crisis? Do they want illegal migrants to flood our country? I'm asking this because yet another massive expose on illegal migrant smuggling gangs has revealed a loophole in our system that the government appear to have known about for over a year now and have done absolutely nothing to stop it. Now, this loophole almost guarantees an almost 100% success rate on the asylum claim in the UK. And I'm going to expose what it is right now. Illegal migrant smuggling gangs are handing out 25-page Arabic playbooks through the messaging app Telegram, coaching migrants, mostly Iraqis, to pose as a thing called bidoon. Bidoon is the term given to stateless nomads denied citizenship after Kuwait's independence. Well, the Home Office's 2024 Country Policy and Information note for Kuwait bidoons, recognising them as stateless Arab minorities and a particular social group under the Refugee Convention, while distinguishing between documented and undocumented bidoons. Well, applicants must demonstrate that they genuinely lack Kuwaiti nationality, hold no official documentation, and face systematic denial of basic human rights, discrimination, and threats of serious harm. Well, an investigation by our very own Camilla Tominay for The Telegraph has exposed that the majority of those claiming asylum here under this scheme may not, in fact, be these so-called bidoons, but be actually Iraqis. And the evidence is quite clear to me. Claims from so-called Kuwaiti bidoons have somehow doubled since 2021 to a record 1,418 last year, who have all got on average, a 92% success rate, suggesting to me many, and I'd be bold enough to say this, could be stateless fakers, and our government is lapping it all up. Because between the years ending June 2021 and 2025, 5,272 people from Kuwait applied for asylum in the UK. That's almost double the 2,874 people who applied in the previous 20 years. Let that sink in for a second. Well, acceptance rates have risen from 41 to 81% in that time. Let's just remember for a second that there is no war taking place in Kuwait right now. And the really damning part of all of this that's going on, and it's going to have you grinding your teeth, is that the Home Office appears to have known about this for over a year now. They were warned by Jordanian officials that some Iraqis were faking bidoon stories, flashing forged birth certificates from imams in Kuwaiti mosques that don't even exist, even using Iraqi passports to slip into Jordan before swapping identities for UK family reunions. The Home Office launched an investigation and uncovered 11 sponsors who'd applied for US visas as, guess what, surprise, surprise, Iraqis. Well, the Home Office concluded this at the time. The investigation, which had involved the Jordanian and Kuwaiti authorities and the US Embassy in Amman, had cast serious doubt on whether the applicants were in fact Kuwaiti bidoons, and these doubts, which had extended to some sponsors who had been granted asylum in the UK on that basis, were eventually confirmed. All right, so we know there's a lot of fakers, basically. And what do you think the government did to close that loophole? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That same playbook still circulating, and those numbers are surging. Labour has been in charge for 18 months now, promising a major reform while the backlog balloons to 227,000 souls, costing billions in hotel bills and support. Shabana Mahmood admits the system's not working, straining communities to breaking point. Yet here we are, 109,000 claims last year, up 17%, with grant rates hovering around 50%, despite the fakery that they seem to know about. It's not rocket science, is it? It is just, in my opinion, gross negligence. And this isn't isolated, is it? Pakistanis jetting on holiday here, and then they get, some of them, student visas, nearly 10,000 last year, then flip to asylum claims for permanent residency, gaining the little switcheroo loophole while we all foot the bill for it. No crackdown on Pakistan launched by this Home Secretary in her latest announcement, was there? So all this tough talk by the Home Secretary really amounts to sweet F all, doesn't it? Because our asylum system has so many holes in it that no matter how much the Home Secretary bangs on about clamping down on some of these claims, loopholes are still being exploited at record rates, delivering huge, almost 100% success rates. So it seems to me that even when the Home Office has clear evidence about the system being gamed, our politicians are just turning a blind eye. The question is, are the government really just secretly happy for these illegal migrants to be gaming the system? Because if they aren't, why won't they close the loopholes?
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living. And maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind. The more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver, and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
Well, I'm now joined by journalist Mitchell Durdin and my panel, the broadcaster Linda Jubilee, former Labour advisor Paul Richards and businessman and activist Adam Brooks. Thank you all very much for joining me this evening. Mitchell, pleasure to have you on the show. This story, it really enraged me when I saw it because we have the information to hand here. What on earth is going on?
Well, just to correct you, and I don't mean to enrage you more, but the Jordanian government actually told us 11 years ago, not 1 year ago.
So over a decade ago.
Absolutely. And that comes from the Chief Inspector's immigration report from 2016. What they've done is they looked into an anomaly coming from Jordan, and what they were finding is there were more Bidoon family reunion visa applications in Jordan than Kuwait. There was approximately just around 800, and in Kuwait there was 66. And keeping in mind, undocumented Bidoons don't have passports. So how exactly will they appear in en masse in Jordan and in a much larger number? The Jordanian government did look into this for us. They found that a large number of these people crossed the border using Iraqi identification. And through their own research, they interviewed the people who were supposedly family members of Bidoon refugees in the UK. And they found that a lot of the people they interviewed knew little to nothing, and that's an exact quote about Kuwait itself.
Wow. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't surprise me looking at this massive surge in numbers, which is over double what we've had over the last, 20 years. Do you think that the government here is being completely negligent? They know there's a loophole. They've had an investigation. They've been warned by the Jordanians time and time again. Why do you think they're not closing the loophole?
It's a good question. I mean, I think the government's more concerned with who they tax than closing the loophole. They've known about this for many, many years. It's out there. I'm sure if I know about this and I found the documents, our Secret Service and people in the intelligence community must know. They've got every opportunity to stop this. And the actual interesting part about this is, putting aside the ones that are accepted, the ones that are refused can't be deported because we don't know or we can't prove where they're actually from. Kuwait won't take these people back. They don't accept them. They say the undocumented Badoons are actually illegal immigrants in their country.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? We've just been landed with an absolute terrible situation where we're just going to go round and round in circles. Paul, the Home Secretary has come out with a raft of reforms. I'm guessing on the things that she would know as Home Secretary, this would be something she knows. She's trying to supposedly crack down on illegal migration. She could close this loophole tomorrow. Why doesn't she?
Well, I mean, it's the Kuwaiti royal family that declared that these people since the 80s are stateless. The word Badoon is Arabic for stateless, isn't it? So they're sort of denied the citizenship of Kuwait or Iraq or anywhere else. The Badoons are the people from Kuwait are the 8th most populous people coming over in the small boats. But what I would say is that it's a sign of successful journalism. I think this has become public, that is now something we are talking about, and I suspect ministers will now want to act on this loophole because, to answer your rhetorical question, of course ministers care about this. Of course they want to close down the loopholes. They're not encouraging people to come in because
it is taking journalists to do the government's work?
They've literally done the homework,
isn't it? But why is it that this has not been addressed sooner? Because
I think
we're going back 11 years ago. I'm still blaming the last government as well as part of this. I'm not just blaming you guys, but you've also been in for 18 months. You made a big pledge on smashing the gangs. This is a massive gang to be smashed.
Well, I agree, and the unearthing of this particular document, this playbook of how to claim you're a Badoon even if you're not, in order to get into the country, that's what I mean by successful journalism. But now that is known about, because that bit wasn't known about before. We knew the Badoons were coming here, of course, for the last 20, 30 years, but that coming to light is a good thing, and that means that we can now crack down on it.
But it's showing exponential growth now. But what's to stop it growing really,
well,
really
you know,
rapidly?
when we get endlessly, you know, when I say smash the gangs, everyone rolls their eyes and says, you're not doing enough to smash the gangs. But this is a perfect example of a gang that needs smashing, isn't it? There is obviously a criminal conspiracy distributing this particular booklet, encouraging people, probably taking payment for it from these poor souls in order to come here. And that's an example where now we know this exists, we can decide to put resource to find out who's behind it and arrest them and bang them up.
Adam?
How are these Badoons, even if they're genuine, our problem? As a British taxpayer, why should we fund these people at the end of the day? You know, there's clearly Iraqis lying that they are these Badoons, right? So how many of these people that have come across are ex-militia or experts in guns or grenades? We don't know. And yet we've got hotels near us all filled with these guys. At the end of the day, I believe our authorities cannot be this stupid. I think it is on purpose for whatever reason that may be. Because at the end of the day, hold on, we've got people pretending to be gay. Home Office believe them. We have people pretending to be Christian and our church facilitating that. What happens? Bang, stamped. If they die or whatever, they have a Muslim funeral. We are the mugs. What else have we had? We have people pretending to be children. We've had adults, 20-odd-year-old men, put in our schools amongst 15-year-old girls. This country is not that stupid. The people running it cannot be that stupid. So you have to ask, what is there to gain for them to facilitate these dangerous men coming across the channel, right, and us not deporting them?
The Home Office say they're trying to crack down on the age,
they're not,
by the way.
But they're not.
I will also say to the audience that the term Badoon is sometimes used in a derogatory way. We are not trying to achieve that here. We are just simply reporting the story as we're aware of it, and also, of course, this is how it is often referred to. So we're just trying to get our facts right and be accurate here. Linda, I'll come to you because, again, I think even if this is one isolated story amongst so many others, and Mitchell has done great work here with Camilla Tominey and exposing this sort of stuff. Why is it we're having to rely on great journalists like Mitchell to do the job of the government?
Because I think it's not just a lack of competence. I think there's a real lack of commitment to solving these problems. It's just possible in big organisations to kick things into the long grass and then somehow just quietly forget about them as though they're not important. This isn't the only area of British public life where this happens. It happens in the NHS, it happens in other institutions as well. I don't think there's a conspiracy here. I think it's much more likely to be incompetence, and well done for
Yeah,
Thank you.
Lifting the lid.
Mitchell, these kind of stories, I mean, you must look at it and go, am I going mad here? Or is this actually complete incompetence, despite the fact this is, as you've said to me quite clearly, it goes back 11 years ago. You know, you've obviously been looking into this sort of stuff. Is there a concern when you write these stories that the Home Office is completely incompetent?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just for one fact, out of interest for you, in this year to Q1 and Q2, more Bidoons have come to the UK than Ukrainians.
Wow.
More Bidoons have been accepted than Ukrainians, and at a much higher rate.
There you heard it here.
Brilliant.
Yeah. This is it, Paul, and this is what we go back to all the time. Why is it that Labour, who have had their main mantra was we're going to smash the gangs, why can they not see this? This is data they've got available. People like Mitchell have had to squeeze out of them probably. Why is it that Labour won't crack down on this? I think there could be a conspiracy here because I know that many Labour MPs think that even Shabana Mahmood's reforms are racist. You know, they're calling her far right. They're saying that she's peddling Nigel Farage. I mean, this is crazy, isn't it?
The reason the numbers are bigger than the Ukrainians is because the Ukrainians are fighting for their own homeland, and the surge of immigration was in that first few months after the invasion, and that's why the numbers have dropped off after that. Now, my question to both Adam and Alex is that you've both rhetorically posed this idea, why on earth is the government doing this? You've used the word conspiracy. What possible reason would there be for a Labour government want to have something...
Some Labour MPs, some Labour MPs and activists love the idea of open borders.
Something that is so electorally toxic, it is electoral kryptonite that is killing us.
Why not close the loophole?
Why
not close the loophole? Why not deport illegal migrants?
Well, because it's hard, that's why.
It's not that hard.
Because you have to do it in lots of different ways.
Done it.
If there was a single simple thing any government of any stripe could do, they would. Right? If it was
I think they're just spineless.
If it was as simple as putting gunboats in the channel or rounding them up into camps, or if it was as simple as that, then a government would do it. But it's not. So you have to do lots of different things all at once. And closing this loophole, I hope now, will be at the top of some minister's desk tomorrow morning or Monday morning.
Let's find out. I'll hold you to that, Paul. In a few weeks' time, if we haven't heard any more, I'll bring you back on. And
what's the Home Office quote? Come on, there must be a Home Office response to this.
We'll find out in a second. Mitchell, final word to you. What do you make of this? Do you think the Home Office are going to do something about it, or do you think it's just going to be one of those that gets sat on for a long time again?
I would hope they would want to do something about it. I do think that ECHR might overrule us with this. I don't think the government have the power while we're in this institution.
We can ignore them.
Well, there is that option as well.
But the Labour government isn't good at... One second. The only gangs we need to smash are these lefty NGOs that tell people like these Bidoons how to fleece our system. They're the gangs we need to smash, and then the numbers will drop.
There we go. Mitchell, fantastic work. Thank you for coming to join me to talk about this story tonight, and please keep doing what you are doing. Clearly a national service at this point.